1-800-449-8255. It's Clark the Shark Show. And there's been a Sharky video in a while here. What's the point? You know, YouTube bans everyone. And the OG Sharky, the Larry Elder, the sage from South Central, if you will. That's where I live, actually, at 1-800-449-8255. Clark the Shark Show. Whoa! But I want to talk about this high rent in California. Now, a lot of people are like, Shark, don't talk about high rent because Lisa, she's making a killing, Sharky. She lives down in Manhattan Beach or Hermosa Beach, and she's charging $3,000 a month to everybody, Sharky. So don't talk about that high rent. Hands off that one. Matter of fact, Shark, don't talk about anything. Because anything that interests you is taboo, and you will be banned and deleted by YouTube. We like high rent in California. It helps more homeless to get on the streets in Venice Beach, living in a tent, or in Echo Park, on a baseball field in Westchester, in a tent, at 1-800-449-8255. High rent is good, Shark. Republicans make a lot of money off high rent, and so do Democrats, at 1-800-449-8255. That's right, Sharky. High rent is good. Ignorance is strength. Drink the pseudo gin. It's 1984 all over again, Sharky. High rent is good. It's capitalism. $3,000 a month rent. Mitt Romney loves it. Donald Trump loves it. Republicans love it. And Democrats love it because you can tax the fucking shit out of everybody because of the high rent. And then you can always say, well, Sharky, we have high rent here. It's a beautiful place, California. It's a paradise. We have homeless taking shits on the sidewalk and living in tents. They don't have that in Texas or Tennessee. Those are racist redneck Republicans over there with low taxes and low rent. That's racist. We have high rent here so that 8 people from El Salvador can live in an apartment in Lawndale or Gardena or Vista or Carlsbad or Torrance. And then the white people can live in a tent in Vista. Don't you see? Because the white people, the man and the woman, they struggle to pay the high rent because it's just one man, one woman, and a child. So we got to kick them out and let the El Salvador people live here because they're more important people. They're Democrat voters. So we raise the rent to $3,000 a month, and then 13 people from El Salvador or Venezuela all live in an apartment in Torrance, and they all chip in to pay the $3,000 a month rent, and no one says a word, Sharky. They don't even complain. They're like, you know what? We love high rent. We're from France. We're from Czechoslovakia. We're from Sweden. We're from China. We're from India. We're from Pakistan. And now we live in Torrance and Redondo Beach. And we don't mind the $3,000 a month rent because then racists like Clark the Shark can just go live in a tent or go live in his mom's garage or his wife's mom's garage, or, you know, that's what a racist deserves anyway. If they don't want to pay $2,500 a month or $3,000 a month rent at 1-800-449-8255, the Clark the Shark Show is back here at YouTube. It's shadow banned. I don't get a lot of views, but maybe somebody will understand. I don't know. I might as well try. At 1-800-449-8255. And a lot of people are like, Shark, quit talking about the high rent. Dave lives up in Palos Verdes, and he owns 8 buildings, Clark. And he charges $3,000 a month to all the Mexicans, and in some cases, he finds white, yuppie, one cute white girl and her husband, and they pay $3,000 a month. See, it's good. It's a win-win. In California, people are paying $3,000 a month, $2,500 a month, $4,000 a month. It's great, Shark, because it's so great out here in California. It's like heaven. We have homeless everywhere, smog because of all the illegals driving, and people from Europe flying in here so they can drive too, from Poland. They're not even Hispanic. They're white people from Europe coming to California. so they can shack up here and live in an apartment, and 1-800-449-8255. And Sharky, if you don't like it, you can just hit the streets. And then most people you talk to don't even know what you're talking about when you talk about the high rent. They're like, Clark, what are you talking about? That's stupid to talk about high rent because Steve, you remember that guy Steve, Clark? He went to South High. Well, he lives in Rancho Santa Fe, and he charges $3,000 a month to all the Mexicans and the people from El Salvador and Colombia that are here, Clark. He subsidizes these new Democrat voters, and he makes $3,000 a month off all of them, Clark, at 1-800-449-8255. And you and your wife can't handle $3,000 a month, but you know what? You don't vote Democrat, so you don't count. You can go live in a tent in Venice Beach. That's what you white people can do. Oh, and by the way, you black people, you too. Oh, and some of you Hispanic people too. Some guy named Steve Gonzalez that lives in Torrance. Yeah, you. You don't even speak a word of Spanish. Well, you can live in a tent too, dude, because you've lived here all your life and you don't know how to live with 8 people under one roof. Most people don't who grew up in California through the 80s, 90s, back, during Nirvana and all that. We don't know how to live 8 people in an apartment, but guess who does? Foreigners who come here from Europe, China, India, Mexico, South America. They're expert at living 9 people under one roof in one apartment, and then the landlord goes, oh, you know what? Let's charge $3,000 a month, because we're going to have 9 people from Costa Rica all living in Torrance or Carlsbad or Oceanside in an apartment. And, that guy Clark, that abracadabra pool, whatever, greenhouse effect, that loser, well, he can just go live in a tent in Vista at 1-800-449-8255. I don't even know if they have tent cities in Vista yet. I know they got them in Venice Beach, and I know they used to have them in Echo Park. And now they got them in Westchester, where the kids try to play Little League Baseball, but they can't because there's homeless all over the park. And then you got these Democrat guys saying, well, the baseball has to move so that the homeless, those homeless voters, yeah, they're more important than the little kids playing baseball at 1-800-449-8255. Oh, you guys like Doug TenNapel, huh, with his Arizona audit stuff? I kind of agree with all that, but do you see the difference between Doug and me? I got mad radio skills. You guys like Michael Savage? You guys like Hannity and Tucker? Do you see the difference between me and them? I got mad skills at 1-800-449-8255 that's better than them. I'm talking about homeless caused by high rent in California. Tucker Carlson would be like, Clark, what are you talking about, man? High rent is good. It's capitalism. And Mitt Romney would be like, why are you knocking the high rent, man? I make a killing off that. And most Republican GOP guys would be like, this Clark the Shark, he's a communist. He's talking about high rent. What's wrong with high rent? Big deal. So what if we kill the middle class and we subsidize all the poor people so 15 of them can live in one apartment at 1-800-449-8255? Mitt Romney'd be like, well, you're a racist, Clark. I'm a Mormon. You're a racist. Oh, by the way, Utah, they got illegals driving illegally there now. So guess what's going to happen, Utah? Your rent is going to go up. Your jobs are going to disappear. Your middle class is going to disintegrate and evaporate. Your poor class is going to get subsidized. And your rich people are going to go, hey, Clark the Shark, shut up at 1-800-449-8255 because we're making big money off that high rent. And Donald Trump is like, make America great again. I have big crowds. Well, did you ever hear Donald Trump say a word about the high rent in blue states? No, you didn't, because Donald Trump probably owns all the buildings in the blue states. Yeah, that's right, Alabama Republican guy in a t-shirt out there in a trailer. Yeah, your guy Trump is why we have the high rent at 1-800-449-8255. And hey, Red State Republican, by the way, the high rent is coming to you next. Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, yeah, all y'all, Oklahoma, Wyoming. Pretty soon you're going to have people from El Salvador and Costa Rica paying $3,000 a month to live in Arkansas and Tennessee and Louisiana, Mr. Red State Genius. I think it's time for Trump to quit yapping his mouth about make America great again and start talking about cutting this rent and making laws to make our rent $1,000 a month maximum, where we put a cap on rent in all 50 states, not just blue states, where Democrats can tax the shit out of everybody at 1-800-449-8255. I'm talking make high rent illegal all across the United States, Hawaii, Alaska, everywhere. Make the rent $9.50 a month like it should be so that people can get apartments at 1-800-449-8255. That's right. It's not communist or socialist that you want low rent. How do you pay for your cable TV? How do you pay for your cell phone? How do you pay nationwide car insurance and Mercury and all that shit when your rent is $1,500 a month or $2,000 a month or $2,500 a month or $3,000 a month at 1-800-449-8255? The Clark the Shark Show. That's right. You're getting the real shit. This ain't Tucker Carlson. This ain't fucking The Five or Greg Gutfeld, Hannity. Those guys ain't talking about high rent. They never fucking talk about high rent. Those guys all make big money, man. They're not the middle class making 30, 40, 50,000 a year or whatever at 1-800-449-8255. You don't hear Trump talk about high rent. And the Democrats certainly won't talk about high rent because they love high rent. They love to tax the shit out of everybody. They love 15 people from Poland living in Manhattan Beach, all paying $3,000 a month. They love 15 people from Costa Rica or Guatemala or Mexico, all living in Lomita, all living in an apartment that's $3,000 a month, $2,500 a month. They're all chipping in to pay that high rent.